Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode here on Decidedly Vanilla with me, Vanillaraccoon. Heyo! And in this episode, we're going to be getting our build on, but we're also going to be chatting here and there. But don't worry, the chatting is for a good reason, and it's also giving you guys a little bit more insight into who I am as a person inside and outside of YouTube. But before we go ahead and do that, why don't we go ahead and see if we can get our fellow server mates, BJW and Page of Macy's, to do a snooze job, because it's getting to be dusk and I don't want to be out when the hostile mobs come about. So while I go ahead and see if I can talk them into doing me a snooze job, I'm also going to go ahead and gather the resource that I need, and then we're going to make our way over to that little cave area right over yonder. It's a brand new day here on Decidedly Vanilla, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to be carving out this room so that we can establish an enchanting area. And the reason why I would like to do so is because once I have completed my neoclassical, classical themed base, I'm going to begin to work on an underground mole man city. And this is something that I haven't done before, so I'm really excited and looking forward to beginning that project. But enough with projecting into the future. Let's go ahead and stay in the moment, and let's also have a nice friendly chat while we carve out the roof. Let me just go ahead and grab some stone and throw it in my offhand, so in the event I need to fill up any spaces like here, I can go ahead and do so. Now, the thing that I want to talk to you guys about is something that I struggle with on a daily basis, if not nearly on a daily basis. And it's nothing too serious, although I guess some people it could be. So if you're able to identify with what I struggle with, and anything I say helps you overcome this minor life problem, then hey, power to you. And what I'd like to talk to you about is being indecisive. Now, I am a very indecisive person when it comes to figuring out what I want to produce for content of a LP, whether it's here on Decidedly Vanilla or over in the lovely world of raccoons, to figuring out what I want to have for breakfast. And so one thing that I figured I would do is, instead of trying to tackle the problem head on at the epicenter, what I would go ahead and do is just tackle the problem starting on a small scale. So when it comes to figuring out what it is that I want to have for breakfast, generally what I will do is I'll just go right into my kitchen area. And why am I saying kitchen area like it's in Minecraft terms? I will walk into my kitchen and just whatever the first thing I see that I know I would normally eat for breakfast is generally what I will end up eating, because instead of sitting there and going, do I really want to eat this for breakfast, I'll just say to myself, well, I already looked at it. I know it's something that I would normally eat for breakfast, so there's no backing out from this now, so I'm just going to go ahead and have this for breakfast. Now, when it comes to figuring out content that I would like to produce for a LP, that's a little bit more difficult to do. So generally what I would do is, well, let me go ahead and backtrack and give you a little bit of a background story before I actually go into this one. So generally, in the event that you are a content creator and you may be like me and you struggle with not having ideas for content, but you struggle with figuring out what you want to do for which ideas you want to sit down and actually use for a LP. I'll spend usually my Sundays the whole day meditating on any ideas that I may have had recently or for a while, and I'll figure out which ideas are the ones that I really would like to accomplish as soon as I can. And then I'll go ahead and begin to plan out my week along the top 3 ideas, because I would at least like to push out 3 videos for you all a week. But, you know, of course, in real life stuff happens, and sometimes I may only be able to get out 2, but I digress. So, with that backstory now there, what I'll do is when it comes to figuring out which content I would like to produce for an LP, I will then just like say to myself, all right, well, if this idea has been lingering around in my head for quite a while now, and I mean like a while, not just a few days, but a few weeks even, or even a month, dare I say, I'll go ahead and that will be the content for that LP. Now, that's easier said than done, I'm sure. I mean, sure it is. So, what I'll do is then I'll really, for example, I've been meaning to want to establish an enchanting area in this hillside for the longest of times. I think actually it was one of the first projects I said I would do off camera, of course. And then that way I don't have to keep running to and from the end or the recent established monster of a farm in the nether that produces golden experience. That way I don't have to keep running to and from either of those enchanting stations. But of course, you know, me being indecisive and not really too sure if I want to produce this as a as content for an LP, it was just at that point where I'm like, you know what? No, just go ahead and do it. Just get it done and over with. And that's, if there's anything I'm trying to say with this little minor chat that's, I think, is starting to turn into a bit of a rant, is that when you have an idea, instead of it just being an idea, just don't think about it, okay? Just do it. You're gonna feel a lot better. I mean, as I continue to work on this area, I am at least starting to feel much better in regards to, well, I'm doing it now. I don't have to worry about putting it off for another day. I don't have to worry about saying it's something I would like to do, but I never actually get done. So, to sum everything up within the past 6 minutes now, is that when you have some indecisive moments in your life, if anything, just take a moment, sit down, think about what it is you really want to get done, and then once you've prioritized those things, then just get on it. It's like what Shia LaBeouf, one of the memes for 2016 was all about. Just do it. Make your dreams come true. Hey Nilla, you got your noggin pot? I don't even know what the hell she's talking about. I don't know what that is. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do now that I have this, wait, do I have an axe in my ender chest? No, I don't. Why don't I have an axe in my ender chest? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to finish laying down the floor for this enchanting area, and I'm going to go ahead and do some work off camera when it comes to applying the walls. And once I have done that, I'll bring it back to you guys, show you the progress that I've made, and then we'll go from there with chatting it up in this DVLP. Although this may sound completely contradicting to what I just talked about in the previous segment, I actually have no idea as to how I want the entrance to this enchanting area to look. But as you can tell, as we get closer, we have the bookshelves along with the enchanting table at the far end of this room. And actually, before I forget to do so, let me go ahead and just enclose myself in this little cave area, so that way no hostile creatures can come in and go kaboom because they're so amazed at the build job that I've been doing so far. Now, the walls, what I did was I just threw down some cobblestone and some andesite. What are you, andesite? Yes, I keep forgetting what each block is and whether it's this resource pack or any other resource pack. But then what I did was just to begin working on the storage in between the cobblestone walls and this column right here. I just placed 2 single chests on top of one another, and then just to add some detail into the wall, I placed a single cobblestone block within 2 cobblestone walls on both sides of the single cobblestone wall pillar that we have right here. And then I just did the exact same thing over there, right over here. Now I'm thinking of putting some more storage in this room just because, well, if you're anything like me, when you do enchanting, you're going to have the worst luck and you're never really going to get what it is that you're looking to get when doing some enchanting. But let me go ahead and just get that little crafting chest table out of the way now. And to add some light back here, I just dug into the wall by 1 block, placed a single glowstone block, and then a chest in front of it because I really didn't want to overdo it with the torch placement in this area, and I kind of figured, well, why don't we go ahead and have a light source that's sort of behind the scenes. And well, it is behind the scenes, and it's also behind a chest and within the wall. You see what I did there? I tried to make a funny. I'm not that much of a funny guy in this episode, I guess. So now what I'm going to begin to do is I'm just going to work on the ceiling area, and I have a few ideas as to what I want to do, as to which blocks I would like to use, but I'm not entirely sure which way I'm going to go quite yet. So I think this would be a great opportunity for me to go ahead, stretch my legs, get some fresh air in real life, maybe do a brief little 8-kilometer walk with my dog so I can clear up my mind and home in on what it is I want to do here. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Before we go any further, I'd like to state that I may have done a little more work off camera that does not involve the ceiling but involves the flooring, along with, as you may be able to hear, applying some water sources in the enchanting station that I'm spending this DVLP working on. So right off the bat, as you can tell, we have a little variation in the floor that is composed of dark oak slabs along with spruce slabs, and then just to add some detail into the floor, I replaced some slabs with stairs, and I think this adds a little bit of a wear and tear look to the enchanting station. And also right over here we have what I am at least going to call a natural waterfall. Now, of course, if you were to wander a cave system in Minecraft, you're not going to come across something that looks like this, but I thought I would go ahead and try and take something that I would see in real life and incorporate it into virtual reality here. So to me, at least, I try to give it a natural cave waterfall look, and I think I did a decent job. Let's just go ahead and remove that torch because that's actually not supposed to be there. But just to have some lighting in this area and prevent any hostile mobs from spawning, I just, as you can tell, placed some glowstone within the wall, so that way the light level is at least at 6, and I think hostile mobs will not spawn if the light level is at least 6, but if I'm wrong, then I'm sure I'm going to find out eventually. Now, what I did over here, I just did over there, and let's go ahead and remove this torch as well. And for the most part, these two natural cave waterfalls are symmetrical, except for this cobblestone wall right here. This is on the left side, whereas this cobblestone wall is on the right side. And actually, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pick it up and just place it right there. So now, if we were to look at this natural cave waterfall and then look at this natural cave waterfall, they now look fairly identical, if not the exact same. Now, when it comes to providing lighting in this area, I didn't want to overdo it with the torches. Instead, I wanted to try and take some light sources and place them within the wall, but not let them be completely exposed. So right behind each of these single chests, I went ahead and did just that. I took another glowstone block and placed it within the wall, and so it's not completely exposed. But if you were to walk around this part of the enchanting station, you will be able to see the glowstone, but like I said, it's not completely exposed, and I don't have to worry about covering it up in any other way other than just taking a chest and propping it in front of it. Now, moving on into what I want to do for the ceiling, I want to do something that I did with the flooring, where I took 2 pieces of material and sprinkled them within the ceiling, and then just to add some detailing, took some stairs and throw it up there as well. But I'm still not entirely sure as to how I want it to look yet. And although I had a splendid walk with my dog, I kind of spent that walk thinking about what I was going to do with the floor and then with these natural waterfalls. So now I'm going to just chill out, jam to some music, and just begin to get my build on, and whatever happens, and I'll bring it back when I'm ready to show off what it is that I have done, and then we'll end this DVLP from there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time where we must begin to conclude this LP, but before we go ahead and do so, let's go ahead and take a look as to what I did in regards to applying the ceiling. Now, where there was the vibrant shade of gray, I decided to just lay down some cobblestone blocks, and then in the remaining pieces of the ceiling, I then placed andesite. But to add some detail and not let the ceiling look completely flat, I replaced some cobblestone blocks with cobblestone stairs. Then I went ahead and started to apply some overgrowth as decorational pieces, and as you can tell, we have some oak leaves just scattered about, not really placed in any specific area. But then also to add some variation near the water sources, I went ahead and laid down some mossy cobblestone, and then for example right over here we have a mossy cobblestone block, and on top of that we even have a vine, and then I went ahead and tried to apply it over here as well. So whether you're entering the enchanting station or leaving the enchanting station, you will have some form of overgrowth visible. And then when it came to applying the light sources, I decided to actually leave these torches where they are, because if I were to go ahead and remove them, then it would get fairly dark, and we're talking light level 5 even. And that's a pretty scary light level to be enchanting some stuff at, because then you're at risk of having some creepers and zambos and other mischief mobs spawning in and disrupting your enchanting. So that is going to do it for this LP. Thank you all ever so much for tuning in. And remember, if you like what you see, then please give that like button a hug and subscribe for the latest buzz. And if you had a blast with a good laugh, then make sure you favorite this video and share it with a friend or two. But until next time, peeps, this is Vanillaraccoon. Peace out.